as Raymond said, I'm Chief Executive of Swire Properties. Charlie runs a project called Blueprint, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Blueprint is, I think, a pretty good example of the serendipitous nature of entrepreneurship. It started off with a concern by senior management about the advent of online shopping and what it meant for us, Swire Properties, as a developer and operator of shopping malls. We were concerned about the threat that meant for our business, and we set up a task force. It was quickly apparent to the old guys on this task force that we didn't know very much about online shopping. We didn't know very much about digital marketing, so it was important we got some people who did. Hence, the majority of this committee are under the age of 30, ably led by Charlie. The project sort of unfolded over the next 6 months, looking at, in particular, sort of means of making it easier for our consumers in the shopping malls to find the locations they want to go to, learn about the products which are on sale, generally better market in a digital manner our services and our products in the shopping malls in Hong Kong. But as it was a broader committee, we started looking at other aspects of the digital phenomena, and we were interested in how we could nurture new startups who worked in the retail stroke FMCG space, because we had a vested interest in that. And Charlie, again, did all the research, gave me the guidance I needed to go and see a few operators in the same space in the States, and we spent a bit of time with a company called Techstars, and we saw what they'd done and how they'd garnered a name for themselves, and certainly contributed to the development of digital startups in particular in the US. So we came back to Hong Kong, and we wondered whether we could partner with Techstars. We decided that perhaps we're not really venture capitalists, and we're not really suitable to be partners. But we did have a lot of space, and we had, thankfully, a few bright people who had an idea. The idea that Charlie and his friends had was taking some surplus space we had in an old industrial building and convert it into a combined shared workspace and an incubator for new businesses. And in the space of 6 months, Charlie and his very young team, everybody, I think, is under the age of 30, has developed a platform, a space, a template and some technology to assess something we're going to be doing today, actually, assess the many entries we've had for use of this space, this incubation space. And we hope to be up and running with our first 10 incubatees, if that's a word, in the beginning of next year. And shortly thereafter, the shared workspace will also start business. It's in around 20,000 square feet of space in Quarry Bay. I should say, unashamedly, much of the logic to us in doing this is not really because we have a desire to be a venture capitalist. That's not our skill base. What we want to do is make it clear to the marketplace that the 8.5 million square feet of space we have in Quarry Bay is very, very tech-friendly. We want to consider ourselves the home for new startup businesses, particularly in the technology space. We have a number of very, very big tenants who are already in that area. And as we're in the process of building another 2 million square feet of office space, it's in our interest to sort of put out a message that this is the place you want to be if you're in the tech space. And that was really the prime motivation for developing Blueprint, which Charlie will now tell you a lot more about. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. I'm Charlie, leading the Blueprint project. And the reason we're both here is because it was really quite a cool result of both top-down and bottom-up initiatives. So Martin brought the right stakeholders in the company around one table to talk about digital technology. And I was assigned the young guy as a Swire trainee to then report on the topic. I'm from LA, so not far from Silicon Valley. And in Beijing, I worked at Baidu and Groupon. So they thought I had the credentials to do this job. And over the course of the past 6 months, having researched the landscape here in Hong Kong, we zoomed in on the current model for Blueprint. And so it's 2 floors. One is a B2B tech accelerator for 10 B2B businesses, so focusing on enterprise solutions, no sector or stage requirements. And we give them free space for 6 months. We don't take any equity. So it's really quite an attractive and unusual proposition. People are suspicious. They say, okay, what's the catch? But it really is for us an opportunity to contribute to the ecosystem, and that's a platform for us to grow these B2B businesses. And of course, in an ideal situation, they're promising young companies that we have the potential to benefit from as well. And so that's the accelerator program. And like Martin said, today is actually the vetting day. So we had over 150 applications from around the world, the majority from Hong Kong, but also some from, actually from every continent. except Africa. And that, I think, is a testament to the government's efforts the past few years with Cyberport, with Science Park, private players throughout the city, universities promoting entrepreneurship because we were overwhelmed by that sort of demand. B2B is quite a limiting factor because a lot of what you see is B2C. So we said, okay, B2B, that's a parameter that we know is going to limit applications. We had over 150. So today's the vetting day where 20 shortlisted ones will face the Dragon's Den, and we'll pick 10 to start in January. And then the other floor, which I think is equally important, not as prestigious, but is a tech-focused co-working space. And the first reaction a lot of people have is, oh, you know, there are 40 co-working spaces in Hong Kong, which is true. And we see ourselves as adding to this ecosystem, and ours is exclusively tech-focused. So the difference there is that this is a hub for startups, for people in, it could be tech journalism, in tech-focused design. And we just opened on Monday, and already see a lot of people rubbing shoulders with each other and feeling like, perhaps in contrast to other co-working spaces, these are people that I should meet because they're in tech. And that's something that we're really excited about nurturing. And then in terms of what we offer, particularly for the accelerator program, this was an opportunity we saw to spearhead corporate involvement in the Hong Kong entrepreneur ecosystem. It was something we saw was lacking. So it was really the combination of an internal discussion, as Martin mentioned, about how technology is going to affect our business, especially the retail setting, what we can do to stay relevant, to prepare for new threats online and by other malls who are adapting to a changing digital landscape. So it was that internal discussion and an external observation of what was lacking in Hong Kong. That was part of the reason for B2B, because we saw B2B being underserved. And that was the reason for really feeling confident that we could lead a new wave of corporate involvement. And so we're very excited. The benefit of being a landlord is having a lot of companies in your office buildings. And so we partner with Cisco, with Schneider Electric, with IBM, Lenovo, Rackspace, and have all these companies now excited to offer mentorship and professional support to the 10 startups that we select. So that's a big element of the package, is that kind of access to real resources that will enable fast growth. The other part is mentorship. So individuals, entrepreneurs, executives, including Martin, and other people high up in Swire companies, but also first-time entrepreneurs. One guy who sold his company to Google recently, and so individual mentors in addition to corporate partners who are on hand to support them. And the benefit that we have is being a big name. It's been fantastic to see people get excited about being involved. And January is really when all that kicks off. But people are saying, oh, when can we talk to the startups, meet the startups? Who are these startups? And then finally, again, the benefit of being an established company in this space is we hope to enable market testing. And that's something we'll wait and see, but Swire Group has a lot of businesses, so beyond Swire Properties, the chance for us to facilitate that sort of access to a real market situation where they say, have a hospitality app and we can put it in one of the hotels. They have an aviation-related, maybe a lounge finding app, and we can try it out through Cathay Pacific. So that's something we're really excited about, hope to facilitate that. And then just in general, the interaction, because one of the criticisms we heard about the entrepreneur ecosystem was that it was fragmented, and that a lot of people were doing things sort of independently without that communication. So we hope to bring people around the topic in Blueprint space. But for us, it's a totally new adventure, and our learning from the process, I think it's a great testament to the company that they're willing to sort of take a risk on these under 30 people and a totally new concept. So we're open to any suggestions people have, and hope that you can come see the space as well.